Exaggeration is a very important part of English. What is exaggeration? Well, very simply, exaggeration is when you stretch the truth. You say something that you don't really mean, or you say something in an extreme way, but the real meaning is much, 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 much less. Now, don't worry. We're going to talk about some really common examples. The examples that we look at are ones that you hear people say. Why would we exaggerate? Well, it just means, by the way, exaggerate is the verb form. Why would we exaggerate? It's a way to have an interesting expression, to say something in a way that is not just exactly what we mean, but requires the other person to think for a second, or maybe is slightly entertaining, sometimes funny. Sometimes people just like to do that. I definitely exaggerate a lot. We could say someone who exaggerates a lot is a bit sarcastic. Now, sarcasm is a very important part of American humor. It's a very important part of British humor, and exaggeration is definitely a key part of that. It's the idea of stretching the truth. It's the idea of bending the truth for a certain purpose, usually not in a negative way, usually not in a way that's meant to mislead someone. People know exactly what you mean, but sometimes we can use it also to express our emotions. For example, if someone says, "Oh God, I've been waiting forever." Forever? Really? Have you been waiting forever? Because forever is a time that has no limit. That's not even possible. What do you mean you've been waiting forever? Actually, it's just an expression to emphasize that I'm a little annoyed that you made me wait so long. Maybe you made me wait 20 minutes. I thought I was going to wait for 3 minutes, but you made me wait 20 minutes. So I say forever. I was waiting forever. Now you really feel my frustration about me needing to wait for you, right? If I just said, I waited for 20 minutes, you might not feel it, right? That would be a very accurate expression, a very accurate description, but would it get the idea across as well as, I was waiting forever? You might say, oh, shut up. I mean, come on. It wasn't forever. 15 minutes. It was 20 minutes. Oh, sorry, right? It just helps to emphasize that emotional feeling, okay? So let's talk about some common examples of exaggeration in especially American English. American English. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm starving to death. I'm starving to death. I was dying laughing, or dying of laughter. I could eat a horse. I could eat a horse. I've been waiting forever. Now let's talk about these. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. If someone says, I'm going to kill you, what they mean is, I'm angry at you. But sometimes it doesn't exactly mean that they're angry at you. Sometimes it's sort of a joking anger. You'll see this in a lot of TV shows and movies. I'm going to kill you. Ha 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 ha. And then they laugh. So that means they're being sarcastic. They're maybe a little angry with what the other person did, whatever it might have been, maybe a prank, for example. And it's a funny thing that happened between them. And so they will say this as a sort of a joking expression between them to kind of actually express friendship in a way. Now, sometimes it could be more serious. And you'll see this in movies and TV shows as well. Somebody does something cruel to somebody else. Somebody does something like break a promise to someone else. They said they were going to be there. They're not there. The other person says, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Or if I was supposed to be somewhere and I lied, right? I told my wife that I'm going to be somewhere else. And then she catches me somewhere else where I said I wasn't going to be, maybe somewhere I'm not supposed to be. You see this in movies all the time. Oh, my wife's going to kill me. My wife's going to kill me. An expression of fear about what consequences might come after. I'm starving to death? What? Really? You're that hungry? You're so hungry that you're starving to death? Starving by itself is an exaggeration because that means you're dying. Starving to death is even more of an exaggeration, and it's just a common expression to mean I'm very, very hungry. Oh, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. I'm starving. We also say I was dying laughing, or I'm dying laughing. Or sometimes people just say, I'm dying. I'm dying. Nobody's really dying, obviously. It's just an expression to show how hard you're laughing, how hilarious it is, how funny it is. And when we talk about it later, we say, oh, that's such a funny story. I was dying. You'll hear people say that. I was dying. I was dying. It means I was laughing a lot. Whatever happened was hilarious, okay? You'll also hear people say if they're very hungry, I could eat a horse. That's a common expression. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Now, it's very unlikely that someone would even try to eat a horse. What does that even mean, eat a horse? Crazy. Sometimes people will say, eat an elephant. Usually the expression is, I could eat a horse. It just means I'm so hungry. Maybe I haven't eaten in 7 hours. I'm really hungry. I want to eat something. I could eat a horse. Common expression, common exaggeration. And then the last one of these, as I mentioned before, I've been waiting forever. I've been waiting forever. It's not real. Obviously, it's not possible. It's not possible. That means you would be there at the beginning of the Big Bang, already waiting, looking at your watch as the universe explodes, and the universe dies and reaches maximum entropy and is cold in 100 billion years, and you're still looking at your watch. That's what that would be. Not possible. It's not possible. Okay, but that's the idea. We stretch it. We exaggerate. One more of these I want to look at. I have a million things to do. You're as skinny as a toothpick. It's literally the best thing ever. I'm losing my mind. You're dead to me, and my life is over. My life is over. Okay, so all of these, again, really, really common. If someone says, I have a million things to do you think they really have a million things to do? If they have their to-do list, how long would that list be? Here's a question to those of you who are good at math. How long would a list have to be on paper if it were a million things? If I had a million items on the list, each written in one line on my lined paper, how long would the list be? There's a math question for you. I'd like to know the answer to that. I have a million things to do is an exaggeration to mean, gosh, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I have so much to do. I feel stressed because I'm so busy. A million things to do. You're as skinny as a toothpick. As skinny as a toothpick. Is someone actually as skinny as a toothpick? Obviously not, right? Someone who is as skinny as a toothpick is just very, very thin. Maybe thinner than what is healthy. Someone lost weight and a friend comments, oh my God, you lost so much weight. You're as skinny as a toothpick. That could mean that they're very thin, or it could mean they're just a lot thinner than before, and I want to recognize it or acknowledge it. Toothpick is a thing that you use to pick your teeth. Okay. How about literally the best? This is one that I don't use very often. I don't really like it. It's literally the best thing ever. Now, is it literally the best thing ever? Well, how do you judge what's the best thing that's ever happened to you in your entire life? That's tough. But we say literally to usually mean it actually is. When we add literally to something, which is a very common expression these days in American English, we mean, yeah, that's what I really mean. I really mean that. So, but it still doesn't really mean that. So we add it to emphasize it even more. But it still isn't actually the best thing ever, because maybe tomorrow you'll say it again and the next day you'll say it again. Do you mean it each time? Really? Day after day? No. Probably not. If someone says this is literally the best, it's the best thing I've ever done, it's just an expression. It's an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration. I'm losing my mind is kind of like I'm very busy, or something crazy is happening, or I'm very stressed, or something bad is going on in my life and I don't know how to handle it. I'm losing my mind. I'm absolutely losing my mind these days. And if someone says you're dead to me, this one could be a joke or not. Sometimes when something bad happens between friends, they have it's called a falling out. They lose touch. One friend, cheats on another friend's boyfriend or something like that. Whichever way it is. And the other person finds out. A horrible betrayal of their friendship. The other person says, you're dead to me. And they mean it. Now, it doesn't mean they actually are dead, but to me, as though you're dead, I will no longer recognize you. We're not friends anymore. Stay away from me. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't email me. Our friendship is over. You're dead to me. That's an expression. It could be very serious. However, It could also be used sort of jokingly, humorously, as a funny thing. You're dead to me. If you don't like the Beatles, oh my God, you're dead to me. That means I can't understand how someone could not like the Beatles, right? Because you don't, now I don't want to be friends with you. But not really. It's just an expression. So it could be used really either way. Either way. Last one. My life is over. My life is over. Again, for this one, it could be used in a serious way or not. Or not. One time, a girl on an airplane was screaming and crying, and she had just had some horrible thing happen in her life. One of a fashion show she was running had a horrible disaster. Something terrible happened, and it was basically the end of her career. But the plane had taken off, and she was crying and sat down next to me. And many times she said, "My life is over, my life is over, my life is over." Obviously, that's very sad. When she said it, she meant it. Not as though she was going to die, but that her professional life was over is what she really meant. But people use this one in a lot more mild situations too. It says, "Oh, something annoying happens. My life is over. My life is over." It could be used in a very sort of slightly bad situation that is pretty common. Fairly common situation that's not so bad. Not like an actual career-ending thing. So there's a lot of flexibility in all of these exaggeration expressions. People use them in many different ways. It's definitely important to know them. So learn them, know them, use them. They're all really common, and look out for them in movies and TV shows. Hope all of those are clear. And if you haven't already, make sure, I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button, subscribe, and check out my courses in the links in the description.